Alrighty, folks, welcome back to the Zen Meathead podcast. As usual, we will start with our little quote. Success is 90% mindset. I would tell you who that was, but I can't pronounce her name. I will put it in the...
Maria Kondo.
Ah, beautiful. We'll get that in the show notes. And
from Spark Joy.
Lovely wife came up with it.
That was Jeremy.
Oh, you did, didn't you?
God,
Your other lovely wife. Clearly.
The gym wife.
Well, speaking of our lovely guest, Mr. Jeremy Sackett, welcome. Thank you for being with us.
Coach,
yeah.
Thank you. It's an honor. First podcast, so be able to do this with you is neat. We heard you talking about this for some time, so it's neat to see it be alive and moving forward and doing what you enjoy doing. So I'm thankful to be here.
Yeah,
I'm glad. As early as I was thinking about this, you were one of the people. I'm like, Jeremy, we got to talk about fitness stuff and all kinds of other great stuff. And you've been in town for a little while, and we've done some talking, and we've come up with some ideas we wanted to chat about.
Well, let's take a step back. So let's talk about the inception of our relationship with Jeremy.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
You know.
It's a big word for us to introduce.
It's early in the morning for
It's
inception.
only 3 syllables, kids. It's only 3 syllables.
The inception of Jeremy coming into our life.
Which is crazy because ironically, we ran in similar circles for a lot of years, and I don't know that we ever crossed paths, but Sarah started working out with you, 8 years ago, maybe?
I think it was 2017.
17?
5 sounds about right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gosh.
You had a little gym here in Bellevue that you were training folks out of.
I mean, I was in my 30s then.
Yeah, you were, actually.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because we're the same age. Yeah, there we go.
You were a young pup.
Cool. We'll move past that.
Well, let's talk a little bit about that. You obviously have been, I think, similar to me, kind of a bit of a lifelong gym rat and interested in it. But how did you go from young Jeremy to owning a gym in Bellevue?
Yeah, I mean, I played around with the weights that my dad had in the garage like a handful of times. I didn't actually start lifting until I was 16, 17. Got into soccer super young, played some baseball, didn't like getting hit with a ball. I thought that was kind of a lame thing to just sit there and try to avoid being hit with it. Yeah, being beamed by guys that couldn't really throw a ball that well. So, continued playing soccer, started playing Premier at U11, so 10 years old. Really dug that, and that was kind of my jam. So, played on a select team in Issaquah when there was only 2 select teams in Western Washington, or at least the King County area, I should say. That was soccer was life until I got injured.
Football is life.
Yeah, football is life. I should remember that. That would sound cooler. But you did, so that's awesome. So freshman year, high school, trying out for the varsity team. Pretty sure I was going to make it. Some weird tackle in tryouts. End up with some funky hip issue and train wreck. Oh, no. I can't get it dialed back in. I just fall off. This would be for the elaboration of this and what it meant to me, and everything would be podcast, another one. Mm-hmm. But it honestly would change the entire trajectory of my life, and not in a good way at all. Because as I reflected back, it was almost everything to me, right? My parents had got divorced a few years earlier. Going to practice 2 days a week, traveling on the weekends. And I was good, but I wasn't the best guy on the team. I was fast, and that helped. But I really enjoyed it. And when that got stripped away, no joke, the wheels came off, the train wrecked, and that, kind of looked differently, but in similar fashions for quite some time after that. But probably 16, 17, my buddy Sean, who you guys know of, it's probably the guy that interests me. We were looking at Muscle Media magazine, and I think we were smoking Camel cigarettes in his bedroom while looking at Muscle Media.
All successful bodybuilders smoke cigarettes, obviously.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I haven't seen as many of those photos, I guess, but I definitely subscribe to that that behavior, apparently.
Yep.
It was probably all for vanity, right? But I think internally, I enjoyed the physical challenge. It was different. I was skinny. I mean, you look at me when I was in middle school and high school, like maybe a $135 wet with a backpack. So, you know, it was building something. You know, soccer players, you look at them, they're not yoked, they're not jacked, they have good legs and good glutes.
They're very lean.
Yeah, they don't look like football players.
No.
And and that's kind of where it started. And Sean and I ended up doing a bodybuilding show when I was 21. You know, that's going to all that, but that was kind of that's the very long answer to your question.
And then so from there, you know, you're obviously super invested in the fitness world. So you started training at some other places, or
so
how did you get into like professional coaching?
Yeah, I mean, I was a glorified membership consultant when I first got. So I think I started working in the industry at 18, 19. Ironically, the gym that my mom worked out at after she got divorced in Issaquah, same guy owned a sister gym location in Kennydale, right across from where the VMAC is now. And just was like, well, this is cooler than working at like Looks Pharmacy in Issaquah and gift wrapping, but I am a good gift wrapper, so that's an awesome takeaway.
Ooh, teach him.
Yeah, I was going to say, remind me to contact you next Christmas.
You'd think he wrapped his gifts with oven mitts on. It's pretty funny.
I mean,
I've seen some pretty trick oven mitts, but I don't necessarily feel like wrapping is going to be like a good outcome.
I'm not great.
It's not good.
So I was I got into membership sales. We sold $600 memberships to a little tiny club. It was a good community club. So I started selling memberships. I'd help people with programming, but super elementary, like, you know, nothing sophisticated. Often it was like a circuit of machine training and whatnot, but did that for about a year and a half, 9/11. So that's where I watched 9/11 unfold. Never forget, like walking back into the lobby, looking up at, you know, the TV that, you know, looks
Did somebody
like that.
put a movie on? Or?
Dude, like no joke. I'm like this, like first thing is like, oh, the movie Die Hard. Like I don't know how else to explain it. So, because of the economic situation and whatnot, and maybe it was the time for Chris to shut it down. The gym shut down, and then I went up to what was Gold's Gym at the time off of Benson and Renton. Started, doing some sales, assistant manager, and ended up kind of co-managing and running that club for a couple years. Met a good community of people. Some people, which my lifestyle continued to go in a not so healthy manner. But hey, I was continuing to work out and sometimes brought McDonald's into the gym, which is super lame. And like
thinking back on it, you're
very,
like, oh.
Can you say douchey on this podcast?
Oh yeah,
Okay.
Say whatever you
Very,
want.
very.
I mean,
not cool.
I'll be clear. I used to rock climb and like have a cigarette at the same time. Like,
I mean, it still feels more acceptable than what I was doing.
I mean,
Were they camels?
not really. Oh yeah,
Oh, okay, good.
absolutely. Camel Light, obviously.
Nice.
They are the healthy ones,
Yeah.
from my experience.
Exactly.
Yeah. So then I went from there, went down to Pure Fitness in Westlake Avenue. Same thing, like weekend manager. And at this point, I'm like, the people I met at Gold's and Renton, like I'm in the party lifestyle big. Like I don't know how many times I, stayed up to open up the club on the weekends. So anyways, you can see the kind of like the contradiction and, some of my journey in this space, but yeah. So,
Well, I think we all go through it, and it's kind of, it segues nicely into when Sarah and I were working out with you. We both also had some alternative lifestyle choices that may not have been great for building muscle, getting in shape, being in peak performance type things.
Being healthy.
Yeah,
you mean?
that.
Yeah.
And coming in and working out with you for the first time, Sarah started working out with you first. And was like, I really like this gym. I was super addicted to the pro club, but I was like, all right, I'll come work out with you over at this gym in Bellevue. Got to meet you. And what's fascinating looking back, I was so turned on by your program in terms of the energy you brought into that room. Like everybody was excited. You got people amped up. And it was more than just, like you said, here's some great exercises to do. You'd explain why, you'd explain the form, you'd help motivate people. But then on top of it, it's like, hey, the working out is part of the equation. Like, let's talk about your diet, what you're eating. Let's talk about how you're sleeping, which was
set goals.
Yeah, it got crazy. And in some respects, I'm somewhat disappointed because logically, we both knew you were dead on the money. And obviously, your physical form, like, the proof was in the pudding. You were doing what you were preaching, and the results were spectacular. And for whatever reason, at that point, neither one of us were really able to lock in and fully commit.
Yep.
And then recently, we've talked about Sarah's transformation in the last year or so. It's funny to look back and see what she did in the 2020 program and just look back at everything you were telling us to do. And it seems like everybody in the fitness industry is like, take this pill or do this targeted workout. And what it really comes down to is
hard work,
consistency, hard work, intention, like day in, day out grind.
And believing that you can do it. As we were talking about earlier, like this idea of telling yourself you can or telling yourself you can't. That is a huge piece of it. And at that point, whether I recognized it or not, there was a can't mentality there. And so, it showed up whether I wanted it to or not. And I put my butt on the line there as well. And how hard I work. That piece wasn't in place yet. It hadn't clicked in. And so I don't think I would have been successful in any of those endeavors, no matter how good the program was.
But yet, I mean, what's interesting as you listen to this journey, which is at times even been my journey, right? Like I've ebbed and flowed, not just in contradiction as far as lifestyle and working out, but just, my personal buy-in and commitment. I mean, there's seasons and, when, you guys reflect back and I hear it, I'm like, man, it kind of sounds harsh, right? Not because it makes me feel like, oh, I should have like cracked their code, but like you still were doing a lot of the things, right? Like you were in the game. And I think that's one of the things that I've appreciated a lot through my journey. It's changed so much. Is just, it's very important to acknowledge what is being done, right? And you guys were showing up like it's not easy freaking having the alarm clock go off at 5:00. I despised it and kind of liked you guys, not as much at 6 as later, but but I mean, I hear that and I'm like, yeah, but you guys did a lot of right things, right? And it just kind of speaks to, what is that kind of more commitment, more buy-in, more like this is my season, and how powerful that can be, because you can do a lot of the right things. And I think that's where a lot of people struggle. They're like, hey, I'm like not eating at McDonald's anymore, right? Hey, I'm exercising, and you can do a lot of the things, but if there's not enough heat and there's not enough of the right direction and consistency and giving it time, and it can be challenging.
Yeah.
And you see so many people fall out of it because, like you said, for the longest time, like in my 20s, I could do that. I could eat McDonald's and pizza and drink and be an asshole, and I could work off those bad habits. Just spend more time.
You could pay the bill.
Yeah, paying the bill. Yeah, we got to come back to that financial aspect of it. But it's so incredibly frustrating, as you get into your 30s and your 40s, and now all of a sudden that bill is coming due. Those bad habits that you've built over the years have compounded, and you went from, let's assume you're 6 feet tall and 180 pounds when you're lean. Now all of a sudden you're still 6 feet tall and you're 230 pounds because, you enjoy a couple beers at lunch every day and this and that. And people will go and get into this program and I'm working out 3 days a week and I've cut out some of my booze and like I've done it for a month and I'm only down like 3 pounds. It's like, you spent 20 years getting your body from that 180 to the 230, and you think a few weeks of slightly better behavior, like when you're trying to lose that weight, like, yeah, you're going to have to invest.
Yeah. Which actually, now that I think about it, it's one of the nice forcing functions about the 2020 program is the buy-in is steep enough and painful enough that it's really hard to join the program and not know what it's going to cost you in terms of both the financial investment, but also the time. But it also helps weed out the people who may not be as invested in the outcome.
Yeah.
Because you have to mean it when you sign your name on that line, because it's not an inexpensive endeavor. And so I wonder, one of the things that was interesting about the end game for your gym was there were some disruptive energies that came into the mix that kind of made it less cool. It made it less zen. And some of us were willing to fight through that, and some of us were not. And so it changed the dynamic a little bit. And so I wonder if there was a way to make it a higher buy-in to kind of weed out the folks that had that not so great energy, if it would have been more successful.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's always, we talked about this yesterday, right? A guy that you and I really respect in the leadership space and training and whatnot, Jocko, is there's always some truth in what's said, right? Mm-hmm. And it's a matter of like what that looks like and how applicable and what the story is. But what you were talking about, and I promoted this with a program that I did that, whether mm-hmm. you're speaking directly about this or not, we'll bring it up because I look back and I think it was a poor decision because it just supercharges this idea that like, hey, lose 20 pounds in 6 weeks. Mm-hmm. And yes, it's doable. Lots of people did it, when you look at the percentages, but it creates a very unrealistic, biased, super tough to maintain. It's aggressive. It's all the things that are probably okay for someone who's experienced, who knows how to deal with the ebbs and flows of failure and not succeeding and bouncing back and all that. But for people that this might be the first time that they've been, in their eyes, more successful because there's significant accomplishment. It's the fitness industry is, I think it probably, unfortunately, it fails people way more than it should, primarily from a marketing standpoint. Mm-hmm. We promote supplements that are going to, help you burn fat. We say 10-minute abs is like the trick, but nobody talks about, the nutrition component, all these things that we can riff on for a long time. But as a whole, the fitness industry and marketers just have really done a lot of damage, like a lot of damage. And I did damage when I had that program, not from just this component, but the culture changed, right? All of a sudden now my attention is on an additional 10 people. Mm-hmm. They're new. That's fine. It's fine to be new, but also other people are like, hey, well, how about the attention we were getting, right? And then we're talking about habits and precision nutrition and long-term lifestyle, and you're like, hey, freaking let's 6 weeks, 20 pounds, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And like there's cool components for some people, but like, like you said, the culture changed a little bit.
Well, and if you think about it from the perspective that it's in the industry's best interest for you to sign up, put your money on the line, and then give up, because then it's like insurance, you're paying ahead for something that you may not use, and why not? But it doesn't help the people be successful. And I know I talked to a ton of people over the years who are like, it isn't even about losing 3 pounds in the course of, a few weeks, but like even being heavier, because now you're putting on muscle, but you don't realize if you're not doing, tracking your body fat precisely, like you don't know what's happening. You just know that you've put all of this effort in and you are heavier than you were before, not realizing that now you have more muscle, which is going to begin to burn fat if you continue to stick with it. But people get frustrated because they're like, I don't feel like I'm making any progress at all. And then they just go right out the back door.
I'm out.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, that's, we mentioned a few things we wanted to touch on today. I think it's a great time. Belief is one of them. And you and I were having a conversation this morning, and it's fascinating to recognize how negative self-talk. I think we all do it. Everybody can associate with it. That little voice in the back of your head that tells you can't. And if you're, whatever age you're at, you've decided you want to make some life changes. If that voice in the back of your head is telling you, you're fat, you're a loser, you can't do it. It's really hard to not only get motivated and get started, but to keep that fire burning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I've oddly have been able to kind of quiet that voice, like with all of the work that I've done, which is really nice to have that voice be like, yeah, you can do it. You're awesome.
Go for it.
Right.
How did you combat that with folks? Because, in my experience, I probably met 20-ish people in that gym, varying levels of experience, fitness at that current moment. And some of the folks were super motivated. They were there because they wanted to be there. You could tell they had positive self-talk. And there were people that, show up once a week and were really dragging ass. That wanted to touch with you a little bit on the community aspect that you drove in that gym. Because in those moments when you're feeling weak or down or out, having the cheerleader squad around you, like, you can do this, like, really helps you ford the river at that moment, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's probably two different takeaways from, I think, what you just said, which is one is like pressing into how important belief is and like how I, spoke about it, communicated that, and then like the community component, because they can often work synergistically, right? Like having a community around you can help boost what may be smaller or limited in your own belief system. But honestly, like a lot of my fitness career, I spent over 2 decades cumulatively in fitness. I would do things different today, 2.5 years outside of shutting down the gym, than I did even when we were rocking and rolling. And a lot is just reflection, and then having to do remote coaching or choosing to do remote coaching during COVID. But if we just dove in for a second on belief, the quote that, I pulled out of the, introduction of the book that I asked you to give me last night at 9:00 because I wanted something to read, was so relative to everything we've talked about, right? Like 90% mindset. Why do I resonate so much with guys like Jocko? And, if you listen to some of Joe Rogan's not as popular stuff, like he talks about his failures. He talks about the grind and like being willing to fail and learn and fail and learn and fail and learn. But, that's belief it's the fuel, right? And if you go get in your car and there's not a lot of gas, you're not going to go very far, right? Yep. Well, that belief for you internally is allowing you to move forward to a certain extent. So I think it's the most important thing. Let's now take a look at what you said as far as community, right? Well, I helped water seeds, right, inside the community of the gym. And there was, some influence from TFW and a lot of influence with regards to community and culture from, Martin Rooney and TFW, which is great, something that brought a lot of value. But, when you're around, and this is why, a lot of people end up working on their own. They work out at their house. They kind of do their own workouts, whatever. And then you see people that have established more of a community, whether it's Orange Theory Fitness or F45, that consistency. People know you, they start caring about you, they encourage you. And all of a sudden you're in this team component, right?
Yeah.
And that team component, right? Like if you're a super introvert, you're probably not going to stay there anyways, because it's just going to it's not that you don't like the people. It's just not your jam, right? Yeah. Like you might just love working out on your own, and you find that journey, and that's awesome. You can be uber successful, never working out at any gym ever, and you're, having a home gym, whatever. But, that community, it starts filling it. You have other people pouring gas in your tank. Yeah. Right. They're very powerful, but belief and that mindset, it's imperative. But you have to realize it ebbs and flows, right? And as with everything in our life, right? Like you don't always probably wake up and we're crushing parenting right now, and like we've been crushing it from day one.
Yeah.
Right? You have times you're like, what? I'm assuming, what in the hell is going on? Like, somewhere
Last
between
night.
0 and minus the number is where I feel like we're at. Like, how do we navigate this? Like, where's the manual?
Yeah.
Well, there's plenty of manuals in fitness, right? But a lot of them are very deceptive, and they're very over the top. They're very aggressive. And let's be honest, with three of us look and we say, hey, what's some of the most challenging times of your life where you can look back and reflect that there was failure associated with it? That hardwires your belief because you see the failure, right? And it's not someone telling you about failure. You experience it's real. It's not a mind. It's not a something that could happen, something that happened to anybody else. It happened to you. It's real. Well, how many people do you know that have tried and failed in a diet?
Everybody.
How many fingers I ran out real fast, right? For myself even, right?
Yeah.
All the things that I've tried, a lot of out of curiosity. And then working out. How many people do you know that have tried a specific workout regimen or hell, just tried to work out a couple days a week or even walk a couple days a week, right?
Yep.
It's the majority of your peer group. It's the majority of your friends. Like, and yet we tell people take these supplements and it's going to help you get fit. It's going to help you burn fat. Like do that workout, do keto, do that. The smartest people in this space right now that I respect more than anything are so open-minded to all of the things that work because there is a lot of stuff that works, but it's when you tell someone this is the way that it starts getting super complicated. And the more aggressive it is, the harder it is to maintain, the harder it is to see results. So,
Yeah. And the easier it is to fall off the wagon.
100%.
Yeah.
And guess what? There's another notch on the freaking
Failure.
On the failure,
right?
Yep.
So the more aggressive you go, higher likelihood of failure. What do? Right? Your snowball of failure in fitness and nutrition and wellness gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And every time you go open up the door, go outside, all you see is that big old snowball. And guess what? It's just going to run you over again. Right? It's all it's done. That's all you know.
Why
right?
even try at some point?
Chris has genetics. Sarah's just super motivated or maybe very disciplined and very bought in, right? Well, there's probably areas of your life that you're very disciplined and very bought in. Like, let's start, comparing your finances, right? And how committed you are there, right? Let's start comparing your buy-in to your family. Like, hopefully most of us don't go home and like, I'm just checking out on the family today, right?
Don't have
you have those moments, but you don't just neglect it and expect for it to be cool.
Yeah.
Whew, yeah, it's the failure train gets really, really rough. I think now that I'm hearing more of your story, all of us have definitely had our ups and downs. What's interesting to me so often when I talk with friends who, have seen Sarah or my success where like, I want to make some changes, I want to do some stuff is, they look at the magazines, social media, they look at all these people, they don't realize like one, there's so much fuckery. Taking filters, lighting, posing on top of that.
Drugs.
Yeah. Performance enhancing drugs, by the way, good stuff, just saying. Not, advocating that. We can talk about that later though. But yeah,
But I never took those.
Fair enough. You see the fitness industry though will go, pay, you when you were in your prime shape. It's like, hey, we're going to take the after photo and hey, Mr. Sackett, here's a check for $30,000. I want you to eat nothing but McDonald's for the next 3 months. And then we're going to take the before picture. So you come in looking like a sloppy hot mess, and I see this in a magazine and I'm like, oh my God, this program, I sign up for this and I do 30 sit-ups every morning and, take these pills and like, woo.
Yeah.
It's like,
do 2 minutes of plank every day.
There's so much fuckery in the fitness industry. It drives me nuts.
Okay, so we got to pop off this because we could go as a rabbit hole. But like when you told me that and you mentioned, Bill Phillips perhaps and whatnot, I will tell you one thing for sure that I know that was to be the case, and it was because I watched all that.
Words.
The strength, muscle, and fitness magazines, Muscle Mag, right? Do you ever remember the Muscle Tech ads?
Oh yeah,
right. And you have this guy, it's like 250, roided out
Just
beyond belief, right?
jacked.
And they got this photo of him, or hydroxycut, right?
Oh, yeah.
Super jacked, right? And then there's a photo next to him, and the guy's fat, belly's out, blah, blah. And yeah,
Pale,
you can modify,
sad.
like, I can push my belly out and almost look pregnant. And bad lighting, all the things, but like that is an example of that 100% was taking place. Jack dudes on juice, so they already look bloated, and then they get them freaking like show dieting, right? Same thing for the gals. Like she doesn't walk around like that every day. No way, she'd be miserable. Like talk to competitors, like female competitors, even in figure.
It's awful,
and they are a lot of them, not all, and not most, but a big percentage have trauma that they're still dealing with because of the body images that it created. And then people perceive that, oh, well, that's like, aren't you going to look like that all the time? You can imagine the relationship challenges. But anyways, that's it. I told you, man, rabbit hole. Still,
that's why I love
no, it's not a good rabbit hole.
That's the great thing. We're going to come back and have lots of these conversations because it is just talking about, exposing all these different things. But it's really the goal is to motivate folks to like, hey, look, I've spent a lot of my life being very unhappy with myself internally, externally. And hey, you know what? I'm certain that I'll probably be there again in life, but I'm on an upstroke right now. So right now I'm in that spot where as part of this community, I want to help lift others up. If you're having a rough time, I want to pull you up. By the way, 6 months, 2 years down the road, whatever it is,
Please do the same for me.
yeah, I might be having a low moment, and I might need somebody to be like, hey, I'm dragging you to the gym every day this week. Like, okay, let's do that. We got one other point.
And I remember being at the gym with you and the environment that was created and that idea of like, I used to push people and I used to look at people and I'd be like, that doesn't seem very heavy. Like, I think you can lift more. And they'd be like, no, I can't lift. Yeah, you can. Come on, I'll spot you. Like, it's good. And that motivation piece and that community piece. And Dean, as we've talked about before, knows how to ring my bell in that way. And like if I'm trying to wuss out for a second, I'll be like, oh yeah, you can lift less weights today. And I'll be like, I'm not doing that. So, but like, having those people and that community and that motivation when you are failing to have them reach down. And there was a saying that I read in a book recently that is, take my hand or take my life. Like, if you aren't going to reach down and help elevate me, then you might as well just put me out of my misery because I need that community to help me. And so that's another piece of it that is really important.
So for the folks that are out there, whether it's their first attempt or their 50th attempt, what do you think kind of like, let's riff on kind of what some of the core things are. Like we've identified, these quick fix pills and all that. Like it's nonsense. It's flat nonsense. If you had somebody, a younger you coming into your gym, and you realize that, maybe they're not in the right mindset quite yet, they're struggling with their diet because maybe,
Commitment.
As part of their social circle, booze and shitty food are just a common thing. How do we help those people to kind of get the ball rolling? Because I find that once the ball's rolling, it's a lot easier it's getting it moving that's hard. Once the momentum builds,
Yeah, I mean, I think we could do like a solid 3 or 4 hour podcast on this, right? Just alone. Because there's so many things that are relative. But, like a lot of times in life, you have to kind of like, it's important to be able to simplify things and narrow it down to the most impactful things. I think we've talked about, how important belief is, that mindset. We've talked about not as deep, but, community, how important it is to be, how valuable it is to be around other people that are on a similar journey. If you hang out with people that just drink,
guess what?
Your lifestyle might look very similar to that, right? We've all heard, hey, you're the sum of the 5 people that you're closest to.
Yeah.
There's a lot of truth in that, right? Because you adopt certain behaviors and habits and mannerisms of people you spend time with. Well, if you have a community that's involved in fitness and healthy lifestyle and talking about, the meals they're eating and the struggles that they're having, like there's connection there, there's community, there's a support system.
And accountability.
Yeah, and accountability. Yeah, which, support system guys say, I don't need a support system. And, accountability, they're like, it sounds like something my wife was telling me about, or the boss was telling me about. Like, you need to be more accountable.
Just one more thing I need to do.
But the thing is, like, that's what a lot of meat and potatoes is. You know? We look at this, and let's answer your question. Belief and mindset, super important. A lot of different pillars that kind of hold that up.
Belief and mindset.
The ability to be resilient, I think, is super important. I put down, being able to persevere. If I sat here, we could do another podcast on all the failures in my life. And this isn't the topic, but I will tell you that the one thing that I've been able to do somehow is continue to pick myself up, allow other people to pick me up, and keep going. If you have not experienced success in weight management, if you haven't experienced success in nutrition, just that whole healthy environment, weight loss, all the things, whatever those components you put in the bubble, it is going to be imperative for you to be resilient, because you're going to lose.
Yep.
Yeah, you're going to fail.
We all lose in any area of our life. We talked about parenting. We talked about sports, right? There's very few Michael Jordans. And guess what? Michael Jordan, what's one of the stories? Like out there shooting 10,000 baskets and just craziness. So you have to go into this saying, you know what? I'm not always going to win. The scale's not always going to go down. So I have to believe in myself that I can do this, even if I haven't seen it happen and I have failure backing it up. And I have to be resilient. I have to use perseverance as a way to continue to refuel my tank, let others refuel my tank, and not get into this space where I just believe that I can't do it.
Yeah.
Because it's I don't believe that every one of us can be a multimillionaire, right? Partly just because some of us go into fields where we're doing primarily community service, and they're giving us a little tip for showing up, right? And that's awesome. We need those people. But when it comes to being healthy, there are very few people that I think aren't capable. Yeah. And you're talking about people that legit have mental illness or physical limitations. And even some of those people you see, and we've all heard them, right? Like the guy that has, the vets that have like one leg left and one arm, and he's in there doing, a workout, right?
Yeah. Talk about perseverance.
But just knowing I'm going to fail, you've got to look at failure as that didn't work.
Yeah.
Now what? What can I try? Or maybe I didn't give it enough time, right?
Yeah.
So I have to have a strong belief and mindset, and we could press into that. I have to be resilient. I have to have this attitude of perseverance. I have to know from the beginning that I'm going to lose. Jeremy, you're going to suck at wake surfing, and you might suck at even getting up. But man, once you do, it's going to be so awesome, right? Yes. What are you doing? You're painting me a vision, and I'm seeing you do something. And I'm in there and I'm sucking the lake and I'm freaking falling. And I look like an idiot.
But
I feel like an idiot, right? But people are like, no, you can do it. Like, it's going to be awesome. Like, yeah, I can do it. No, I can't do it. I can't even hold on to the rope, right? But there's going to be failure. People get into fitness and nutrition as lifestyle, and they just expect like they're going to succeed, right? But the flip side of the coin is they're also feeling like there's no way they can win. It's like this very complicated space. And then what Sarah said the other day, right? Like, what's the trick, Sarah? Like, how'd you do it? Like, blah, blah. And she could talk about the doctors at the pro club, which are awesome, the support system, which is awesome, the trainer, which is awesome, the pro club itself, which is awesome, and the community, and all that stuff is super cool, right? But what doesn't do anything? What is the ultimate factor that determined her outcome? Hard work.
Hard work.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's exactly what she said, and it is, again, imperative. It's a non-negotiable.
Yeah. Well, and as I look back on it, it really was a flip in investment. Like, it was me investing in me. And a lot of the times before, it was me investing in someone's image of me, whether it was society or a spouse or, whatever it was never for me. And this time, however it worked, I remember having a conversation with myself being like, damn it, why is this not working? I don't understand. This is frustrating. And I got to the point where I was like, I for me. I want to be able to do this for me. And I invested in it for me. And it was my journey. And it's like the stock market, or it's like a savings account. Every once in a while it'll dip, you'll lose, and you can panic and run and, liquidate your investment, or you can hang in there and you can keep sinking your money into it and go, yes, I'm investing in me. I'm investing in my health. I'm investing in my fitness. I'm investing in my longevity.
This is my 30-year plan.
Yeah.
This is my 30-year strategy for retirement.
You don't get a 1-year mortgage.
Right? Like that's really such a powerful analogy, and like you can see the vision of that, and I love that.
Yeah,
I think it's important to be realistic and gentle with yourself as well.
Boy, howdy!
For a lot of my life, I was interested in just being, a giant roided up freak. I mean, let's be honest about it. And so often, Sarah would like kind of harass me. I'd point out people, yourself included, like I want to look like that. And she was like, so let's look at Jeremy's lifestyle. Like his entire financial everything is built around him appearing a certain way and being able to help other people get to that location. She was like, how many hours a day do you think Jeremy spends thinking about his diet or other people's diets or his working out? Or she was like, his entire lifestyle is surrounded around health and fitness. And she was like, and you sit at a desk 8 to 12 hours a day. You drink too much. You don't pay much attention. You're like, how are you going to look like Jeremy when, you guys are doing very different investing? You were investing the majority of all of your stuff into health and fitness. I was investing a tiny piece and expecting myself to look like you. How realistic is that? Like,
yeah, but you want it.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. I want like a brand new GT3 Porsche, and like a mansion on the lake and a mansion up in the woods, or at least a dope cabin. And hopefully I'll
like
get
an
maybe
actual
one of those
dope cabin, like the pod shed.
No, like there was a pun there. That was not next. But if we go back to what you're saying, what is your activity like?
Yeah.
Right. You have to spend a lot of the time in the gym if the rest of your lifestyle, which I've experienced this last 8 months when I made a career change, is when your work day, let's just call it 8 to 10 hours, some it's worse, more, is sitting at a desk. I don't care if you have stand-up desk or a ball under your whatever, you're at a desk. And then if you don't have activities that you do, when you start looking, okay, if I go to the gym, which a lot of people, okay, if I say, hey, Chris, you need to go to the gym an hour a day, 7 days a week. Would most people think that that's a lot,
insane,
a pretty big commitment? Like that's a pretty big commitment, right?
Yeah, but think about the percentage.
Yeah, right. And that percentage is important. And here's why that percentage is important. If that's the only place that you get activity, you are working from a place where you just don't have as many tools in your toolbox, right? Versus if you're someone who, hey, we're going to do family walks, right? You got young kids, right? We're going to go for a walk. Hey, we're going to get out. We're going to do a hike on the weekend, right? Now you still want to, for optimal health, do strength training. You still want to do cardio, which going to put you in like a zone 2 or zone 3. You've probably heard Peter or Tia talk about how like valuable that zone 2 is, right? Like you can talk, you can have a conversation, but you're a little winded, right? Like you're jogging, right? You're not sprinting, you're not dying on the assault bike. You're not doing CrossFit or getting crushed at a TFW workout, right? You can get crushed doing anything. That's another big problem we could talk about is, we've promoted this. Well, I don't hate CrossFit.
Just like the intensity of it.
Like you don't need to feel like you're going to die when you work out. In fact, you will be much more successful if you feel like you got a good sweat over time, because you're going to have probably more fun, right? You're probably going to enjoy it more. You're probably not going to be as sore, right?
And you're not likely to get injured.
People that come and say, hey, like, I didn't feel that workout. Like, cool, there's nothing wrong with that, right? Are you pushing yourself? Did you like get close to maximum effort? Great. That's good. Like you can do that over a long period of time.
Yeah.
So so many rabbit holes with me in this space. That exercise activity is so important. They've found out that fidgeters burn more calories.
Yeah.
I don't know if these can pick up my
it's
toe
probably the
tapping.
toe
But,
tapping.
yeah. And it's just,
I'd never thought about
it's
that.
so powerful. It's why I used to shit on walking.
Yep.
Why would you walk when you can run?
Yep.
Why would you walk when you can do high intensity intervals? Why would you walk when you can do Tabatas? Right? If you're 40 pounds, 50 pounds overweight, how much fun are you going to have doing a 5-second Tabata?
Nope.
Trying to jog? Like when you
Sucks.
haven't jogged and you're in shape, it doesn't feel good.
Yeah.
Let alone if you're 30, 40, 50 pounds overweight, it feels way worse.
Beats
Your
your
joints
joints
already
up.
hurt. So being able to incorporate activity in life that the family enjoys, that you enjoy, like sport, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to play soccer. You don't have to play baseball. You don't play basketball. You don't play flag
Badminton.
football. You just being active, right? Getting out and being active.
Moving.
Walking, moving. It's so important. And the recovery that you get will make your workouts better. And your overall lifestyle, now you're living a healthier, more active lifestyle. What do you want people? What do I want people to be? I want you to be in the game.
Yeah.
I want you to be engaged. I don't want you to seek perfection, because those are people I see fail the most.
Yep.
I want you to look at small habits that give you wins. But guess what? The industry says, but you could do better, faster, and like all these shortcuts,
If you
right? But
buy-
how many shortcuts do you know to being a millionaire?
Yeah.
How many shortcuts have you found to being a parent? How many shortcuts did you find to being a good wake surfer? Oh, bro, so here's what you're going to do. You're just going to take this pill. You're going to jump in. Bro, you're going to do some dope
360s
things
today.
Like at least by
I'd
the
buy
afternoon,
that pill.
right? So would I. At least like a couple times. But yet in fitness, that's one of the biggest issues where go hard, go fast, do more, blah, blah, be extreme. And man, you know who makes a lot of, who the person that turns into multimillionaire? The person that started
Guy who's selling
throwing
that.
$200 out of his paycheck at freaking 18 years old, right?
Yep.
What is it? Like by the time you're like 35 or 40, you're a millionaire. And you did, wasn't
didn't
a lot
even
of
miss
money,
the money.
right? But
Yeah.
it compounding interest. You're in the game for a long time.
Yeah.
You had losses, but you weather the losses.
Yeah. Well, and the muscle mass is the compounding interest.
Definitely part of it for
Yeah.
sure.
That, is a big piece of it. And, the atomic habits, the things like taking the stairs instead of the elevator, like going a floor down or 2 floors down if you're going to get water at work, or, like making a point of doing a lap around your building a couple times a day, or just those little things that you don't realize make a difference, but they do. Or, one of the things that we do is we'll go for walks on our one-on-ones instead of just sitting in an office. Like, start incorporating that stuff into your life and making little changes here and there, and it makes a difference. But if you really want to see success, you got to put your ass on the line. You got to start doing stuff that is hard.
Yeah.
And people don't like being told that they have to do hard things a lot of times. They're
it's a really
willing
good-
to do it themselves, but if they're told they have to do it, they're like, I don't want to do it.
Well, and I think we need to separate what hard is,
Yeah.
right? Because a lot of times one of the hardest things for people is just to get started
Yeah.
and then to stay
Yep.
in the game, right? So what's hard
To
for
not
you and
press.
I, right, is like pushing ourselves to places where we're uncomfortable, doing an exercise that you don't feel like you're really good at, or something you're trying to navigate an injury, right? And that's hard, or being more consistent, or all those things. And we're thinking this upper echelon of like, performance sometimes, but you have to, the industry doesn't do a very good job looking at people who have failed and who have, never really, like, they weren't in sports. They don't have some of the good habits, the good behaviors. And for them, hard is just being able
there.
to get started and do work.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
You're so much better off in fitness to do work than do the perfect work. Explore, figure that out. Right. But to your point, like, it requires work, but it doesn't have to be painful. It doesn't need to be extreme. Right. And work pays off. Jocko said something the other day with Huberman. He's like, man, one of the biggest things is we get in our heads. We all do, different areas of our life. And what do? We dwell on it. We think about it. Maybe we talk to our wife about it. Maybe we talk to our buddies about it, right? But a lot of times it's kind of sharing, and we're kind of sitting in this space of like just ruminating on it, right? And it generally doesn't like get better, but sometimes it does. What makes it better? action.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Not perfect action, not the ultimate action, not the 6 week action,
just
not the
something.
6 week action plan, moving, right? Immediately you feel a sense of relief because you're moving and you're doing something that's productive, albeit
that
maybe
goal.
only 3% dialed in. You have action, you're working, right? You're working, and that helps with your mindset. It helps get energy. You know, they also talked a lot about energy. Like, we create energy. We forget that. We think this is our source of energy, myself included, right? I drink a decent amount of caffeine. Well, exercise, movement creates energy. And there's
It
the
really
hormones,
is.
the dopamine, right? Like, stuff, you start looking at some of these things, and it's like, you know, it's wild because it does require work, but it doesn't have to be painful. And there's so many benefits, but you can tell me about something all day until I try it, until I get vulnerable enough to say, hey, you know what? I'm willing to fail again. I'm willing to fail again.
Yeah.
I'm willing to fail again, because if I don't, I'm going to die 10 to 15 years early. I'm going to pay for medication that just continues to go up. Healthcare, has your healthcare got cheaper? Microsoft has good healthcare. Yeah. Has it gotten cheaper the last 10 years?
Nope.
Right? Have you got more benefits? Right?
Nope.
Is the healthcare system, we listen to the same podcast, way more jacked up than you could ever imagine? 100%. All these things, they're in your future. They're in your game, right? You just don't have to deal with them right now, so you're not thinking about it. There's another choice.
That bill's
Yeah.
coming due.
Yeah. The bill you have to pay the bill.
Would you like to invest early?
Yeah.
The number of people we've watched, you know, you see these folks who have chronically been overweight, you know, they bad mindset, struggling in life, tons of medication, like you said. And I've watched so many people, however it happens, they go through some type of body transformation, they lose a bunch of weight, and all of a sudden, you know, you're talking to them and they're like, yeah, I used to be on like 7 big pharma meds. And I was supposed to be on them for life, and they were ruining my quality of life.
Yeah.
I lost 50 pounds. I'm off all of them, and I feel better than I ever have.
Yeah.
And it's the silly little things, like you said, like the walking.
Yeah.
I thought it was horseshit when you were the first guy who introduced me to that. Like, just go out and walk on your off days. I'm like, that's freaking ridiculous.
I want to deadlift 500 pounds.
Right.
I
To warm
want
up.
to walk more than getting to the car.
Yes.
Unless Sarah says she really wants to go for a walk. And maybe she wants to talk. And
that was pretty much
maybe
it.
I still don't want to go for the walk.
I'm
still intimidated.
He fought it.
But I've never, like, I'm at the leanest point in my life. And ironically, like, that is my off day jam right now. If I'm not going to actually go do a workout 3 to 5 miles, like, you want a success story? Like, hey, cool, support us. Stick this podcast in your ear and go take a walk.
Yeah.
You know, every day.
Yeah.
It might be if you had to make me pick one thing, right?
That's probably it.
It's probably walking.
Yeah. Oh, God.
It just because any day of the week, any weather,
Anywhere.
bar the ice wackiness that you guys experienced a week ago, anybody can do it. Doesn't require any money, doesn't require membership, anything like that. It creates good headspace. You create energy because you're moving, right?
Yeah.
You know, walking and strength training. But even if I had to pick, man, you know, I'm a big strength training guy.
Yep.
I'd have to
It's
go
the only
walking.
you can do.
Yeah.
Well, and I'll tell you, like, plopping in earbuds and listening to, like, Rising Strong by Brene Brown, or,
The
you
Zen
know,
Meathead podcast.
any of those types of, like, elevating mental exercises while I'm getting out and being active, it does something.
Yeah.
It improves your mood, everything.
Yeah. But I do want to go back to the vulnerability piece of it, because there are a lot of people who are not willing to try a lot of things because they're afraid of looking dumb or failing. And God, people, you got to get over that. Like, the number of times that I worry about what I look like at the gym or what people are thinking, and then you find out, like, nobody was paying attention to you. They're all focused on their own stuff, you know, and unless you're doing some of the weird, you know, TikTok gag reels of gym work, you know, nobody's really paying attention to what you're doing. Just get out there and get over yourself and try some new stuff. Like, see what you dig. And if you can find something active that you like, that really, like, jazzes you, and you get done with it and you're like, yeah, I feel good, like, that's a good thing for you.
One thing I want to make sure to hit, it's something that a myth I want to dispel, I guess. I've spent most of my life probably 30-ish pounds overweight. And so often when I was failing out of diet protocols, workout protocols, it was because, again, I'm looking at social media, magazines, I'm looking at, these super ripped men and women, and I want that. And all I ever hear is, well, that person just subsists lifestyle on, chicken and broccoli 24/7. It's like, I'm not willing to give up food and family and fun to look a certain way or to feel a certain way. And I'm here to tell you, like, absolutely. And everybody I've known that's been in like very peak physical condition will tell you, you can eat, like, I still go to McDonald's. I still eat pizzas. I still drink, but I do it very intentionally now. If I know we're going to a New Year's party and I'm going to eat a bunch of crap and drink a bunch of crap, I might hit the gym real hard the 3 days leading up to it. I might put less carbs in my diet for those days leading up to it. And then when it comes, I've planned for it and I don't feel any shame or any guilt or any weirdness. I'll stuff a whole large pizza in my face hole and wash it down with 3 whiskey Cokes and feel great about it.
You're really selling it.
Well, no, I mean, you can be 6-pack ripped and eat all the stuff you love. You just can't eat it 3, 4, 5 meals a day. A little bit of intention goes a long ways.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it like a bank account, you think about what you spend and what you earn and how that looks. Like, you can...
I think she's got a wire in your car, bro.
A wire?
She's listening.
She's there.
Damn it.
I'm just so in tune with you. I know exactly what you're thinking most of the time.
This is getting weird.
Well, it's just people don't understand. If you're 40 or 50 pounds overweight and you're trying to get into that peak physical condition, yes, you're going to have to make some sacrifices. Cut booze out, cut crap food out, get real intentional with everything, and you're going to spend a while grinding at that. But once you get to wherever it is your goal, body composition is, you don't have to, that crazy diet and workout protocol that got the weight off of you and got you into that condition.
It's
you don't have
easier to maintain.
Well, you don't have to maintain that level of intensity to just maintain something. Once you've built what you want, maintaining it has a reasonable amount of flexibility in your diet and your workout. And so these people are like, I'm not going to do it because I'm not willing to, give up my lifestyle. It's like, you don't have to forever. You just...
So, I mean, that's like most of the things that you guys have said and just in all of our conversations over the years and just in the last couple of days, you earn things in life.
Yeah.
Certain things you're blessed with them, certain things that you have no control over, but most of the things you have influence over.
Yeah.
What you've talked about. A lot of the things you can earn. Might take you 10 times the much work, and that's okay. Like, accept it, embrace it, be okay with you having to do more than your friend.
Yeah.
It takes more energy to get moving in most things, right? Like, and you're not moving down a hill. You're not moving on a flat surface. You're moving up a hill. Why? Because you have past failures, because it's difficult, because there's so many things that are wrapped into nutrition, because there's so many things pulling at your time other than, an hour for the workout, right? All these things. But you have to realize that with the amount of energy and influence that it takes in the beginning, you'll create opportunities. And, I'd love to hear you kind of give your spiel on the whole, bank account, just to see how close it is to what we're talking about. Because, it's that if you can embrace doing more in the beginning and having a slow fade out of that, you will get to a place that you're talking about, that you're experiencing, that I've experienced, and we're comfortable in, right? And that you can confidently say, like, hey, I can have a couple drinks during the week. I can go have a meal, and I don't have to think about, I'm going to put it in my macro calculator. And it's so powerful to be honest with yourself and see the potential that there's a better place, but it takes hard work in the beginning. It takes focus. You have to be more disciplined in the beginning, right?
More intentional.
But when you're more disciplined, you earn an opportunity later on to have more flexibility, right? How sexy was balance when you were 15, 16, 20, 25? The word, like balance. Like, did it get you excited? Did you think career opportunity? Did you think like anything that you wanted to accomplish was balance, like something that was like a cool label?
No. On or off.
This point of your life, when you look at things, how you've communicated, some of the recent journey outside of fitness, right? What's a label that you would say, man, it's pretty cool when I'm balanced in this area. Man, I feel like I have a good balance in my training. I feel like I have a good balance in my nutrition. I eat good and intentional most of the time, but I can allow myself to have some stuff. That's balance, right? Hey, I have good balance in my relationship with my wife. All these areas, like all of a sudden it becomes sexy to be balanced, right? Because you have more joy when you're balanced, because you're more even keeled, because you're less upset, you're less sad, right? Not because you're not upset, not because you're not sad, but because you figured out how to modulate that. Looking at that from the lens of nutrition, from the lens of training, from the lens of a healthy lifestyle is so important. And I would hope that people would see that and say, man, like, who cares if it takes me 12 months to lose frickin' 12 pounds?
Yeah.
Like, if you have 25 pounds of fat to lose, know how awesome you're feeling a couple months, but just losing a couple and you're stronger and all these things, your mindset, and you're moving. And at the end of the year, you drop 12, couple pant sizes, shirts are feeling different, dresses feeling different.
People
maybe
noticing.
Summer outfit is a little bit more exciting to put on. And you had all these milestones of success, and you believe in yourself, but your strategy is not sexy. It has a lot more balance, right?
Yeah. Well, and I think it's important for a lot of the conversations that we've had around recognizing, and I don't want to say reveling in, but for lack of a better term, reveling in your success. Because one of the things that we've talked about is he specifically, he gets a success and it's acknowledged barely in the pursuit of the next success and the next success and the next success. And so there's not a lot of time that's spent patting yourself on the back going, hey, I kicked ass at that. Like, that was awesome. And whether it's a workout or the fact that, whatever it is, completing a half marathon or, just recovering from knee surgery, like, pat yourself on the back, give yourself the credence that it deserves, that you did something awesome for yourself. You invested in yourself, and that is great. And if you take that good feeling of congratulating yourself and take it forward to the next day and say, I'm going to feel that way when I'm done with this, it's easier for you to keep that ball rolling.
I mean, that's for me, because I always love learning when I'm in conversation. I didn't used to be like that at all. I pretty much thought I knew everything. I knew nothing.
None of us were.
I knew everything, but really knew nothing.
Welcome to life.
Yeah. You might be growing up, Mr. Sackett. Congratulations.
Take it back.
Like, that's such a powerful nugget.
Yeah.
Right? It's why did the TFW community promote some good results for a lot of people? Yeah, maybe it wasn't as profound as what you've just accomplished. Yeah. Both of you have accomplished. But you have people high-five each other, right? You're encouraged upon what you did, right?
Yeah. Energy.
Like, hey, you lifted 25-pound dumbbells today, right? If you're by yourself, if you're in your home, that's all fine and dandy. I'm big into machines are awesome. You don't have to do freaking dumbbells. You have to do barbells. You and I've talked about this. Man, I do a lot less barbell work than I used to. But I still have a lot of the same goals. And just congratulating yourself, being willing to say, man, I'm eating less processed foods than I used to. I'm focusing on protein. Do you know how annoying the first 2-3 weeks of the precision nutrition was? Yeah, you do, because you did it, right? Yeah. One habit change every 2 weeks. Boring, slow, this is dumb. I want to lose weight fast. But guess what? All of a sudden you realize, man, I've changed this habit. I've changed this habit. 6 weeks, you got 3 habits. 12 weeks, you got 6 habits, right? Yeah. And they're building, and you have the belief, and hopefully you've been acknowledging that. Maybe some other people have been encouraging you. It's such a good nugget.
There was very little that was more motivating, as dumb as it sounds, than getting Warrior of the Month. I still have that plaque that you gave me where it was like, damn, I worked hard for that. That was great.
And I would counter that. I because I know you can be a pretty humble person. You can also be pretty confident in your skills and ninja ability. What? But I think it was maybe one of the most beautiful things that we did, right? Like we spotlighted somebody, was never the most jacked person at the gym, was it? Did anybody have a six pack?
No.
I don't think so. Well, sometimes,
Yeah, you did.
sometimes, right?
Sometimes it was in a cooler in the car.
Right? I know what I'm eating. You don't watch me. Sarah obviously listens to you at all times and has, little listening devices.
wiretap.
Yeah, the wire. That's the wire.
Trust me, I don't need to listen.
Yeah, just look into his eyes and
Yeah.
he'll tell you everything.
Oh, yeah.
Before opening his mouth. But yeah, that's the Super Bowl of what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Like, because you had to have a certain belief to get there.
Yep.
And then you're recognized by your
Peer
peers and
group.
your coach. Your coach is like, man, you've done extraordinarily well,
Yeah.
right? But even if you're pursuing that, the amount of success that you're going to attain, right? Like if I suck at saving money, but I consistently try to save money, am I going to have a pretty good shot of eventually having something there versus if I just said,
You can't do this.
I can't do this.
Yeah.
I don't like $10 a month is too much, right? Hey, $50 is out of control. I'm not gonna be able to go freaking bowling or freaking whatever. Yeah, it's just I'm glad you brought that up because I don't think it's stupid, and maybe I'm a little biased because I gave it to you, but I gave you something that you earned.
Yeah.
Right? Like that.
And it's
you
important.
didn't get that because you were nice. Clearly, there were times where you said things that were not nice.
I remember that.
We could have a podcast on that. Actually, I don't know if it'd be a very long podcast, but
that was embarrassing, by the way. That
for you or me? Because I was
for me. Like
Okay, we don't have to go down this rabbit hole.
No, but it was one of those moments where I don't know what it was about that, but you hit me in a spot like emotionally that I wasn't ready to be with. And I lashed back, and I remember I said something very not nice to you, and you called me on it, but you called me on it in a way with integrity. And I sat back, and I was just like, "Oh crap, that was really shitty of me," and having to have the humility to come back and just be like, "Hey, man, I'm sorry, I don't know what that was about, but like that wasn't cool, and I apologize."
Which is super rad, right? Like you trusted me for some reason at that point enough that like you took a second. You're a very reflective person. Let's not kid anybody, right? Like, and we all have our moments we would like to reflect -10. But what a cool picture of like what it is to develop trust and relationship to where like someone like what was it trying to do? Yeah, maybe you could feel uncomfortable and like kind of what it was. And it wasn't anything extreme. It wasn't like you freaking attacked somebody or even attacked me like intentionally, particularly, right? But a little bit of coaching you up, and you were in a place that like you took it, and that's kind of I know you. That's your personality, if not today, later. It's neat to have those environments. It's neat to work hard and be recognized, and like it's as I move in this new career space, it's one of the things I'm most excited about because I've been stuck behind a desk for 8 months and have had almost zero interaction with human beings and have an opportunity to go lead people. And to me, leading is, it's getting to know people. It's getting to hear about their story. And like, man, we get so much more done in this world and have so much more fun and joy and peace if we just gave just a couple more minutes to like hearing how people are doing.
Yeah.
And you don't have to change the world. You don't have to give them advice, right? But like, that's just, man, there's a lot of freaking equity there.
Yeah. Well, and the grace and space that you created for me to be able to come back to that and have that humility, it was very important. So thank you.
And look at this. You invited me to spend a couple days in the casa.
Right.
Where have we gone?
Yeah.
Rises from the ashes.
Yeah.
Beautiful. You wrote down one more thing here. What is that?
That was the neat.
Oh,
that's
okay.
the I guess technical term for non-exercise activity. But yeah, man, I don't know. For people that are like listening to this and people that you guys have obviously, you're experiencing something. You're experiencing a platform, right?
Yeah.
Above and beyond this, which I love and I think it's super cool, and I enjoy having this conversation with almost anybody all the time. Really enjoy having with people like yourselves. It's just that and when there's that platform, right? People see something in you. They find a belief, right? They can see a vision. Is just, man, just get in the game.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Like as super dumb as it sounds to some people, like work out 10 minutes a day, right?
It will
10
produce
minutes a day,
results.
because eventually that 10 will probably turn to 15, and that 15 will, and maybe it stops at 30 minutes, but 30 minutes
Every day.
times 6, you take Sunday off,
Yep.
is still what, an additional 3 hours of training that you're intentionally taking care of yourself, right? Just get engaged in eating less processed foods. Just get in the game and be willing to stay in the game. Don't, like we talked about, failure, but quitting. Just have zero tolerance for quitting.
Yeah.
Because this is the life you get. There is no, you can get knee replacements. You can get surgically put back together, Sarah. Props. Thankfully, a couple knee surgeries behind you. I really don't want to compete in this.
Yeah, please no.
Right, but we can get all these things. But at the end of the day, you guys, like we get one body. We get one choice. And when it starts going south, I'm sure you guys know people, and I do. Sean's a good example. When you no longer have the right to train, when you no longer have the option to be healthy, there's nothing else that matters. You can have all the nicest house, the cars, the wife, the husband, all the stuff, the kids, but if you're not healthy enough to appreciate, to do life, man, it's you get put in a place where your options are super limited. And now, hopefully, most of us that are listening to this and exploring this or reevaluating it, you have options. And I don't care if you do Orange Theory. I don't care if you are more of a yoga person, if you like to hike and you hate weights. Like Sarah's like, get involved in something, get moving, be flexible, try things out. Don't listen to the dogma of nutrition. Don't listen to the dogma of training. Don't listen to the marketing and the shaming of the fitness industry. And I've been part of it, right? I used to tell people, don't eat carrots. They're high in sugar. Like, super stupid thing I've pretty much ever said in nutrition.
Don't eat carrots.
But like just get engaged, get around people that would maybe encourage you, and take action, man. Just get in there and try, and no, you're gonna fail.
Yeah.
Right.
At least a little
That's
bit.
okay.
Yeah. Well, and it is funny because not funny. I think about Sean a lot when I'm training, and the number of times that when things get hard and I'm thinking about crapping out and giving up, I think, and I say it out loud, I am blessed to be able to do this.
Yeah.
Powerful stuff.
I'm blessed to be able to move like this. I'm blessed to have the opportunity
Your
to be
eyes
here.
are watering. Not
Dude,
mine.
seriously.
Yeah.
I've not
That's
met
okay.
Sean
Yeah.
yet. But what Sarah said, the number of times I've been in the gym where I'm like, I'm tired or I can't get my ass out of bed to go. And I'm like, that guy would kill to have 1 hour in my meat vehicle and have it's like,
I mean, our journey in that, and I know we got to shut it down, but here's a guy that, had one day, one moment, and his life changed forever.
Yeah.
We're the same age. He just turned 44, jumped off a boat head first, 2 feet of water, and
Never the same.
paralyzed from essentially the neck down. And I did one bodybuilding show. It was with Sean, same stage, and we trained together like 4 to 5 days a week, right? Like that's my journey, and like the brotherhood that we have. I'm probably closer with Sean than I am with my own sister, which maybe I should work on that too. But nothing against her at all. It's just I look at him and I feel blessed to be in his life, and
you asked why we have tissues. Now you know.
just about made it, but had to just walk right into a room. But
slid into the allergies at the end.
That's the epitome of that's the brass tacks of what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Options.
Yep.
You got an option at a certain point. Like if you don't save, you're not gonna have money to do things. If you don't freaking take care of your relationships, not gonna be relationships left. If you don't take care of your body, at a certain point, it will fail.
Yeah.
And you will have fewer years. You will be in more pain. It affects everything.
Lower quality of life.
And it doesn't have to be that way. And you don't have to be extreme. You don't have to do all the hardcore diets. You don't have to do all hardcore exercises. You just got to start, and you got to be willing to say, I will not quit. I will continue. I'll find my jam.
Yeah.
And you'll find your jam.
I'm
You'll
gonna
find your
invest in me.
identity. And you can have a similar but unique experience and outcome, just like you guys have had, just like I have experienced in thousands and hundreds of thousands of other people.
Nope.
Yeah.
You're not changing it. You're choosing it.
Yep. Well, there's that quote again.
Boom.
Cha-ching. Check.
Well, we got to get you off for lunch. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for joining us. Jeremy, I hope you will join us again as well. There's, like you said, just so many rabbit holes we can dive down. We have these conversations all the time. It's funny that we're just recording it for the first time, but
Oh, yeah.
believe in yourselves, folks. Try something new. Be awesome. Be well.
Yeah. Be gentle with yourself. Speak kindly to yourself. Be
see
your
ya.
best cheerleader.
Amen.
Thanks again, Jeremy.
Thank you.
Stay elevated, folks.